Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, John A. Blues, and with this particular video, I'll be discussing my thoughts on episode 7 of the anime series Log Horizon. And we're pretty much seeing the first step of Shiro's ultimate plan being put into motion as this episode begins. As one of my viewers commented on my previous video, the Mic Burger plan to essentially bring money, bring gold into the Crescent Moon Alliance and things like that, is basically the utilization of this new awareness they have through Nieta's help of how to make food taste like real food. The basically going against the using of the menus to put ingredient items together and everything like that. If you do it by hand, if you cook it yourself and you have a cooking skill high enough, you can make really legitimately tasty food. So they decide to utilize this as a means by which to open their own sort of little restaurant. Everybody gets involved, making the little setup and everything. They start making food. They send people out to get the wild boar by, the dozen or half dozen, whatever it is, to have the meat stock enough and to use all those bits and, supply and demand, that kind of thing. They kind of have to, because everybody's used to food not having any flavor, they kind of have to, rigmarole people involved, get them to taste the food first. And once that first chick does, they're selling like hotcakes, very understandably. They haven't had anything that tastes like real food. Now all of a sudden they do. Now, one of my fears, and it's kind of, showcased a little bit subtly, is that with all these other guilds and all of these conflicting parties, if you will, surely people are going to start wondering, how is this possible? What secret does the Crescent Moon Alliance hold? How does this food taste, like real food and everything? And we do see a hint here and there of people who are like, do what you need to. Break in, steal secrets, find out what exactly is the process behind this, that they're actually able to do this now. And so I wondered, going into this as we were seeing it unfold, if this could be a potential issue, for Shiro and the Crescent Moon, that maybe they would have infiltrators, or maybe they would have people who would, take somebody hostage. I want to know how you're making this food. Who knows what conflict could arise from this? But apparently, what was done was enough. This was the first step in Shiro's plan, and he's now, by the end of the episode, of course, ready to move on to step 2, whatever that may be. He doesn't actually seem to need all of this money that he initially said, or at least it's going to be a growing process to get to that point. He doesn't need to just wait for that to happen to move on to step 2. And, in the intermingling sort of unfolding of this story, we see that we have Marielle, who's basically just backlogged with tons of paperwork. It's driving her insane to a comical level. Her partner in arms with the Crescent Moon, Henrietta, she makes a deal with Shiro to basically have, Akatsuki all to herself, dress her up like she's a doll and kawaii and all of that, for whatever other purposes Shiro has putting forward. And then toward the end, we see him contacting Minori again, the sister of the brother-sister twins, whatever you want to call them, that are in that other guild, that basically they're there suffering oppression. And it looked like Shiro was trying to find a way into that area or something like that. And we're learning that guilds have zones that people cannot be entering or leaving if they're not part of those associated guilds. So we see somebody in a cloak going into that room after Shiro was trying to get in there. We saw Akatsuki trying to get into an area that is a Crescent Moon zone only, so because she's not actually officially a member of that guild, she can't get out of the area to get away from Henrietta. And it's interesting because, of course, we find out that there are zones up for sale, as Shiro points out to the chief Nienta, which cost lots and lots. So does this monetary wealth he wants to accrue have something to do with that? Doesn't seem like it, but the question remains. And then finally they also get into contact with this new cat, Jiro, who is the leader of his own guild, the Caravan of the West Wind, and they kind of want to employ him. They're all former members of the Tea Party, so they want to get as many people as they can together and try to really corner the market and twist the world back to a more positive place. He, of course, believes, as he tells Shiro, that this has become a prison of sorts, and it's not hard to see why. People can't leave it. Basically the PKers and the more dominant forceful guilds are the ones in power as of current, so the smaller people are kind of suffering, and Shiro wants to change that, and it seems like the Sojiro guy, he agrees with it enough. Will he end up turning, for the worst later on? I don't know. That's a suspicion I have, but in any case, it's another interesting chapter to this Log Horizon story unfolding, and I can't wait to see what step 2 is for Shiro's plan, other than maybe getting all these other guilds together or getting more guilds together as a sort of commerce, building commerce and cornering the market, as I say, to make the money flow toward the better and make the players or the people existing in this world prosper. So yeah, it'll be very interesting to see, and I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below what you thought of this episode of Log Horizon, if you've seen it, episode 7. Otherwise, that'll be it for me. I'll catch you later. Peace.